All right, welcome to episode 1 of Ben and Barry's.
Hello.
What's up?
How you doing?
This is Barry Luck. I'm Ben Sigel. We are here, not exactly sure what we're doing.
We have no idea what we're doing, but we're sure it'll be something.
The one thing I've learned over the last 2 or 3 days since I've told people that we're doing this is that people love their podcasts.
Yes.
And I don't know where we're going to fit in on that.
Or people may not love the podcast.
No, they may not love our podcast.
Yes.
They love their podcast.
That's right.
We hope to be one of their podcasts, but we're not really sure about that.
At least we know we'll have 2 listeners because we're going to listen back to it.
That's right. Yeah, 2 listeners.
And
we may just be talking to ourselves here.
My wife is going to listen to it just so she can heckle me. So we got that.
Well, there's a couple things that we're missing being a podcast. We're going to work on. We don't want to knock this out of the park. Episode 1.
Yeah, we don't want to start too high.
We're going to get there. We don't have intro music yet. Maybe we'll find something and put it in there. So I know all you guys' fancy podcasts have intro music. We don't. We're also not brought to you by anybody. Not
ourselves.
We're brought to you by ZipRecruiter. No, we're not brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Manhattan Running Company and Federated Insurance. And
there you go.
We were actually supposed to record this yesterday.
Yep.
But your real job got in the way.
Yeah, I had to work. It's really sucks.
Called and canceled on me.
I was going to quit my job today knowing that we're starting a podcast. We're probably going to get rich off this.
Probably.
So yeah,
not.
I'm going to be unemployed as of tomorrow.
But I just want you to know you're not the only Barry I know. So it's easy. You're easily replaceable if we had to go that route. I thought you were going to cancel on me a second time. I fully had my phone ready to answer this morning, and you say, "Hey Ben, I got something else that came up."
I think Ben's exact comment was, the best ability to have is availability.
That is what I said. That is exactly right.
There you go. No, we're good.
So we'll start off by just kind of introducing ourselves. Some of you know who we are. Some of you don't know who we are. In fact, I've gotten a couple of messages saying, "Hey, who's this Barry Luck guy?" And I think I found one of your fraternity brothers from college.
No.
Michael Goins.
Yeah.
He said, "Where's this Barry Luck live?"
I got some stories on Michael Goins, so don't make any comments.
Michael's a good guy. Let's leave him out of this. Some people know who you are. Some people don't. I'm Ben Sigel. I grew up around here. Trey and I opened Manhattan Running Company 10 years ago. Ran in college, still running, training for various races, and just trying to stay motivated on a daily basis. Right now, I just signed up for Boston, so I'm going back to Boston again in 2019.
Which you nailed last year. In a nice way.
It was good.
I was going to say, don't sandbag. It was good.
No, it was not great weather. My goal was to run 3 hours. I ended up running 2:59:57.
Yeah.
As Trey and Joe were watching as I was coming in, they were watching the finish feed. Everybody else coming down Boylston Street is waving and smiling, and I was at a full sprint, weaving in and out of people because I knew exactly where I was on the clock, and I was trying to get there. And so, I met my goal. I ran really well. I was happy for that. I want to go back and try to do better. I've never really feel like I've had a great build up for a marathon, so that's what I'm actually working towards right now. Is just trying to get the mileage going and do that. Barry and I actually met. I don't even actually know when we met. We met in the store.
I know exactly when we met. So I'll start with what I went to college here, and then my wife and I, Janelle, we went to Phoenix for 18 years and moved back here to work and be by family. And my first week back, I wanted to figure out where there were trails to run because I ran a lot in Phoenix, and I saw a store, and it just so happened they'd been open for about 3 months. When I walked in, and
so it was October, almost 10 years exactly. I know. Right now, we opened in July. So
and I came down in October.
Happy friend anniversary!
Hey, there you go. See, that's why we started this podcast. But yeah, I walked in their store, and there was Ben and Trey sitting there with a tarp, basically hanging. I mean, they had really nice stuff. But
we could prefer to call it a curtain.
Yeah, it was a curtain. That's how they divided the store, and. Just started talking to him about that and started buying shoes and stuff from him. So that was 10 years ago, almost today. So
yeah, and then actually we at some point, and I actually know exactly even what road we were on.
Yeah,
we went for a run from my house. And, And I think I had said something, hey, I'm thinking about doing this 50-miler. What do you think?
We were actually up by the gate at the top of that climb as you curve around when you brought it up. Actually, I think his exact words were, hey, do you want to pace me or crew me for the 50?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And idiot that I was, said, I'll just run it with you.
Yep, that's right. And then we recruited two more. We got Brandon Purdue and Josh Agar. They came along with us.
You got that picture on your Facebook page.
I did, actually. We'll tag that when we post this out with the four of us. That was actually 7 years almost to the day. Actually, it was this last week. That was 7 years ago that we ran that race together. And then we actually ran 100K in January together. We've obviously run different races together, but ran 100K down.
Well, you ran 100K. I ran 24 miles. We may have started together, but I decided to call.
You dropped a little early.
I was looking out for everyone else.
I actually was pulling in after the first lap and hoping not to see anybody, and there's Barry limping out of a car saying, my day is over. So
we'll get into that. So.
Yeah, and so anyway, so why we're doing this? That's who we are. We're doing this. I kind of thought it would be just kind of a fun idea. And Barry and I always have a good time. We're together. We always laugh a lot. So we thought maybe we would talk running. This guy actually, more than me, you watch the national running scene, the national trail running scene. You always know all this stuff going on. You always tell me about it. I just don't watch it that closely.
Yeah. Well, you're working harder than I am.
Well, I don't know if
that's why I'm an insurance agent. I have time to do these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, but I still enjoy it. But and actually, one of the reasons we did that was because you one of your favorite races is out in California.
Yep, Western States.
And you want to get qualified for that, and so.
And now Ben is. I'm not currently.
Wait, actually, when do I even need to sign up for that? If I was.
November. It's going to be November, and then they have the drawing in December, the lottery. We usually get together and drink beer and watch the lottery at about 9 in the morning.
Big deal.
It is a big deal. This year, you have about a 2% chance of getting in, or 1.5%.
I have
your first year,
chance?
yeah. Scott, our buddy, has about a 5% chance. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Not likely.
I'll tell you a little more about me. We talked about the race this January, the 100K Bandera 100K. Just so you know, I love running trails. I ran in high school, quit for a long time. Wife got pregnant and decided to start running again. That was almost 20 years ago. Done a lot of marathons, but had a terrible year. Just like he had a great year at Boston, I had my worst year of running ever this year. Didn't finish that race through no good excuse other than stupidity. Screwed up my nutrition. Came back and ran Never Summer 100K in July and got timed out, but decided that didn't finish. Decided I needed to reboot my running and working out, and have been doing everything but running to get my body back to start running, which is starting this last week, started running again. So hope to have a great year this year.
Well, you made a big change in that amount of time, because you're down a lot in weight.
24 pounds down
since Never Summer 100K.
Yes, and more importantly, in much better shape.
And haven't run much.
I've run two runs.
Biking.
Lifting, running, biking, and rowing. A lot of all of that.
And the most important thing,
eating way, way, way better. Had one cheeseburger in 2.5 months, which, if anybody knows me, I was having about 3 or 4 a week.
Well, I also know that you love Sonic. Have you cut that?
I haven't been to Sonic.
You're a happy hour guy.
No, haven't had anything. Just I drink water and coffee. So, and that's it.
Abs are made in the kitchen, man.
That's right. I'd show you mine right now, but no one would be impressed. Let's just pretend there's some amazing abs under here. We'll airbrush those in later.
We'll video Barry washing his clothes later. And then we can all throw up together. So anyway, you're on a good path now. You've now started running back. Are you signed up for anything at this point? Like, what are you training for at this point?
My goal, I'm not signed up for anything, but my goal is to go back to Bandera this year in January and finish that 100K and get requalified for Western States. I haven't actually signed up because I am going to wait until December and make sure everything goes according to plan as I start my run, because I have a tendency to get injured. I think with all the other stuff I'm doing, I think a lot of times runners get very myopic and they only run and then they start to experience injury after injury and they can't get out of that cycle. That's really why I quit the running for a while, to lose the weight while not putting the pounding on my legs, and now I feel like I'm a lot better balanced.
Yep. So time to get going.
Knock on wood, but I think it's good. So.
Well, I will not be joining you for Bandera.
You don't have to. You qualified for Western States.
Well, I mean, I would love to do it again. I really would. I would like. I'm motivated by trying to get better, and I felt like I had a really good first half of that race, but then the second half. It's just hard. It's just a very, very, very rough course. 2 giant loops out there to get to your 62 miles, and got a little. I mean, it wasn't hot that day, but it got warmer than what I would have liked.
Especially in January, you're not ready for anything warm at all.
I mean, I was training, and it was cold, and so. But I would like to go back again sometime. I just, as part of my, I get. Right now, I don't feel like I'm in very good shape. And when I say that to anybody that might be listening to this, or maybe one of you, or maybe none of you, when I say something like that, what I'm doing nothing but comparing that to myself. Like I know how I feel. I haven't been putting in that many mileage. I've actually now had 3 up weeks, week over week over week, which has been good. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I still don't feel like I'm in very good shape yet. Yep. But I also last year started a little bit earlier. I was getting 35 to 40 miles a week starting in August and through September, and I didn't really get that this year through August and September. Yeah. So I know that the 2 keys is just getting more mileage, or the 3 keys actually, really getting more mileage. I was actually looking back through my training log on Strava and getting more mileage, getting in long runs, which I haven't started yet. I'm planning on having my first one tomorrow at 10 or 11 miles potentially, and then actually starting to do some type of intervals, whether it be the workout I call the Joe, which is just a minute on, minute off, because Joe always harps on me about doing that stuff, or later on I start doing tempo runs. I know those are the 3 keys: more mileage, long runs, and that. I know I'll start feeling better. It's just one of those things you just have to be patient, and you'll get there, and I'm not there yet. I don't feel it yet, but I know it's coming.
I think you left off consistency.
Well, that makes a huge difference.
Which is, you see a lot of people do long runs. They're worried about the long runs so much. They run long on Saturday. I made this mistake. You run long on Saturday, have this amazing, huge workout, and then you miss the next 4 days of running or working out to recover. And that doesn't do as much good for you. And that's one thing you did really well last year. I mean, every day.
I try to hit 6 days. If I have, and I would love to run more. And sometimes I'll string 10 or 11 days together. But my goal for the week is always to get 6 days with a long run, have 1 day off, and then get right back into it again. And with that, when I really start getting my mileage and feeling good, I can hit in the 50 to 70 mile range pretty easily with that's when I get to a 20 mile long run or whatever. And so the reason I don't want to go back to Bandera this year is because I ran Bandera last year, and then it's essentially a month off after that. Yep. Not great training because you're just
it screws up Boston.
Oh, yeah, it screws up Boston. So that's one of the reasons I want to just try to have a build up throughout. I really kind of always, when I'm doing these races, I race, and then I kind of fall off the map for a little bit, and I realize how much I love the build up and love the training part of it to get there. And then you're doing it for the race, but then the race kind of you just kind of fall off the map after that, and I'm going to try to not do that. So so we're with this. So obviously we're new at this. This is going to be new. We're going to we tried to map it out. We try to have a couple segments that kind of breaks it up. And one of the first things we want to do, so obviously we're in Manhattan. We're not thinking we're going to be people downloading us all over the world. It's not going to happen. Not even all over the United States. Really, this is for our target base here in the Greater Manhattan area, Junction City, Wamego, Riley, Rock Creek, this area. Yep. We'll talk about some local stuff. We will talk about local races, past races, upcoming races, maybe some high school stuff occasionally, or some K-State, maybe even KU. We actually have some employees of ours that run at KU. So
we also both have kids who are going to KU. We both give a lot of money to KU. So, well, I do. I don't know if he gives any.
She's on her own, man.
Oh, there you go.
No. So, but one of the first things we want to do is start with some of the past summer shout-outs. And I know you had a couple that you had brought up that people who have worked hard. We see a lot of people on Strava. We're both Strava users, which is like a third-party social media for runners. And you watch that pretty closely and see what's going on. And you saw some things this summer that you liked.
I almost feel like I'm a stalker sometimes because I watch the Manhattan scene mainly There's a great group, the Manhattan Running Club.
Yep. You can get on there and be in there with us. You can see other people that are running in the area.
And so I give shout outs a lot and kudos to people. I'm like, they don't even have a clue who I am. Who's this creepy guy telling me great job on my runs? But I do it because I know it's nice when you have a good workout to have someone notice it. So,
well, I actually saw a Strava connection the other day. I was in the stores before Stan Hawkinson's talk, and I was standing next to you, or I was standing close by, and Brandy Miller came up, and I had said something about Barry Luck, and she goes, "You're Barry Luck? Barry Luck from Strava?" And you guys met for the first time. You guys knew each other through Strava.
Yeah.
And then you made a connection. So it's almost like you've got mail type of thing.
I know. It's
Tom Hanks.
I'm more famous in the Manhattan Running Club than anywhere else. So, no. But, yeah, so we have some people, just some things we saw. And I know Ben has a couple, and I've got a couple. I'll let Ben start with his.
Well, mine goes back to May. So as you guys know, and also big news that we will talk about later on, is that the Bill Snyder Highway Half Marathon is going to be finishing on the field this year. We're stoked for that. We're really happy. But we've had that race for 4 years, and a big one for me is, one of our own works here. He's actually up in Illinois with the K-State track team because he helps volunteer assistant with them. But Joe Moore won his 4th straight Snyder. That's fun. We've had. I mean, there's been some good people come in. And 2 years ago, he actually set the Kansas State record, ran 1:04:04 on that course, which is blazing fast. Now, technically, he doesn't have the record anymore because there is a group from Kenya who we will say drinks better coffee than Joe, apparently. Drinks better coffee.
We'll just call it coffee. In honor of that, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee.
And actually, we're looking.
Their coffee tastes different than this.
I've just got water in here. We're looking for sponsors. There's a perfect place for a coffee cup to sit. But they drink better coffee than Joe. We'll just say that. And they took the record away, but not in my books. Joe still has the record, so that's huge. What do you got?
Well, I've got a couple. Well, first one I'm going to talk about, and to me, the race was really impressive. But you talked about the build-up, so I'm going to talk a little about this. But the first one I'm going to say is Lindsay McRoberts, also someone who probably feels like I stalk him on Strava. She ran the Hawk 100, her first 100-mile race, September 8th, and nailed it. She did a fantastic job. It was a really muddy we'd had rain, so it was not an easy run. But what was more impressive is you look at her build-up in Strava, she was averaging 60 to 70 miles a week.
That's a lot.
She hit a 100-mile week back in May, but the hours she put in training every week, she was between 14 and 20 hours a week of training. You think about that, 2 to 3 hours a day average every day for probably 3 or 4 months building up to. I mean, she put the work in, and it was, to me, that was the coolest part, how hard she worked. But yeah, she nailed her first 100, and I know her watch shut off or did something at like 92, 93 miles.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Yeah. So on Strava, it didn't look like she ran 100, but she did.
Good job,
So
Lindsay.
she did
That's
awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. The other one that I've got is, and I know there's others. If there are, let us know. But Brandon Walker, customer of ours and friend of ours, qualified for Boston recently up in Chicago. So nailed that. So he'll be going to 2020. And for those of you who don't know, or maybe you do know, if you're going after the Boston just it took 4 minutes and 52 seconds under your qualifying time this year from the past year to get into the 2019 race. And Boston went ahead and lowered all their standards by 5 minutes.
Which is a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot over a marathon, but that is a huge chunk of time.
It's a lot. And so Brandon nailed his run and got qualified, I think, 3:02 or 3:03 or something like that. And so he will be heading to Boston in 2020, I assume. I'm assuming he'll want to go. So
yeah,
that's huge.
That's
and
great.
I'm sure there's others, and any of you others that qualified for Boston.
Don't be yelling at the screen or
I'm not trying to cut you out. I actually tried to look on Chicago Marathon's results page, and it wouldn't show me by like state to where I could just search by state. I would have to search through everybody, which would have taken me too long. So. Yeah.
I got another one. This is a duo. June Klotz and Eric Bergstrom did Ironman Wisconsin this year, which is a huge deal, and they did really well.
And what is an Ironman, in case people don't know?
It's 2-point-something mile swim, 2.5.
2.4-mile swim.
And then 110, 112-mile bike ride, and then a marathon at the end.
26.2 miles.
And their times were really good. They did really well. But they also this year, I watch them on Strava, and the amount of training time to train for the bike ride, the marathon, and the swim. They were out at the Tuttle Pond, as I like to call it, day after day swimming in the Spillway Lake and putting in miles. I think they were doing 12 to 15 hours a day or a week also.
Oh gosh!
So they did a fantastic, and they both did great. So
it's pretty amazing.
And then my last one, I have to give a shout out to one of my other running buddies. He also went to Bandera with us.
He was at Bandera. Joe, Barry, Scott, and I.
Yep, and Scott wanted to qualify for Western States as well. We were qualified the year before. We did a 100-miler together. And he missed the qualifier for Western States by a few minutes at Bandera. So he finished the 100K, missed the time he needed by a few minutes. So we went to the Never Summer 100K in Colorado, and he nailed it. He crushed that race, and that one is at high altitude.
Yep.
The reason I didn't finish, I got altitude sickness. Scott was annoyingly just jogging along next to me, looking happy as can be, taking pictures, and I had to actually yell at him to get him to leave me so he'd go qualify. Then I ended up having to drop, but he did awesome. So those are my 3.
That's huge. That's awesome. Yeah. So great job to everybody. We will keep looking for that stuff.
Yeah, and if you guys see someone you're really impressed that did something amazing, it doesn't have to be here in town. I'd like them to be from here, but if you see someone went somewhere and did something really cool, send us a note so we can recognize them. That'd be awesome.
Yep, absolutely. We'll you can email me. We might, depending if we have more than 5 listeners, we might get an email address that Barry and I can share an email address.
Yeah.
benandbarry@gmail.com.
We'll hold hands.
And, but until then, you can shoot it to me, bensegel@manhattanrunningco.com. We're going to post this out. We might post a little video. We're also going to upload to iTunes or wherever we can to get it out. So hopefully you guys can download it, maybe listen to it while you're running or in the car or whatever. So this is going to be ever evolving, but we definitely want to hear from you. We're going to have, we will possibly have people on here. We'll interview people.
If anybody's willing to come.
Anybody's willing to face the gauntlet and come and talk to us, we'll interview people. The next segment we are going to do, we call Going Streaking.
Yeah.
We're going streaking!
And it's not what you think. No, we're not.
Well, it could be, but it's, no.
We are, this is an idea I came up with. I really need a lot of help with motivation, and so you have to lean on people to do certain things. And in March, I actually, with the help of my buddies Jeff Gill and Chris Miller, we did a push-up challenge where we did 100 push-ups a day. And for me, it was a piece of cake to get 100 push-ups a day in. I think we even had, if you didn't do it, you owe $5 or something like that, or we were going to buy a round of beers or whatever. And so for me, it was super easy. And then what you realize over that 30 days, I think it takes 21 days to form a habit. So we did it for 30 days, is that you start feeling pretty good. And you're like, oh, man, I can do this. It started off with, 10. And I think a couple times I even had to break it up 50 in the morning, 50 in the evening. But now I've continued it on. And now I pop out all 100 after my run, kind of as I'm showering and getting ready for the day.
And you're looking huge.
Well, I have to go through doors sideways, but that's neither here nor there. That was a unintended consequence of doing the push-ups. So what I think we ought to do is Barry and I are each going to come up with something that we're going to go streaking on for until our next podcast.
Yep.
And so something that'll challenge us, obviously, something that that we don't already do. Like right now, I've continued the push-ups. I don't do 100 every day. I don't want to do that right now. I try to get 100 in. Sometimes it's 50. Sometimes I don't do any. But my thing, I'm going to go streaking on until our next one is I'm actually just going to try to run every day. Because that's what I'm really trying to focus on right now is running and getting in shape and getting my mileage up. So and hopefully that our next one hopefully doesn't go like a year from now. Hopefully it's in 2 weeks or something.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's beneficial to wait a year. So
and I'm actually
run every day for a year.
And I'm actually going to put a 30-minute or 4 mile limit on mine. So
it has to be at least 30 minutes.
It's not a mile. I'm not going to go out and jog around the block. It's going to be 30 minutes or 4 miles.
The point is not to keep the streak going. The point is to actually benefit from it by consistent training.
That's correct. So that's how I'm going streaking. I'm gonna try to run every day. What about you?
Yep. Well, my working out's been pretty spot on for 2.5, 3 months now. I haven't missed anything that I've got that nailed. So that's not going to be my streak. But my problem is, thanks. Yeah,
everything's perfect for you. Good job.
Yeah, I'm spectacular.
Let me bow down.
My problem is injuries. And one of the things I know helps me a ton, but I never do it because I'm lazy, is taking 10 minutes to take care of myself with foam rolling and stretching. And and Ben knows because I bought them all from him, I've got foam rollers, I've got the little clamp jaw roller thing that works fantastic. I've got wands, I've got little balls for the feet.
You've got a wife that can massage you.
No, that's one thing I don't have. She's not going to massage me.
No.
But so I want to roll out my legs for at least 10 minutes every day as I move forward, because as I'm starting to run again, I really need to make sure I take care of that. And I tend to only do it once I'm injured. And it's the simplest thing in the world that I just don't do. I need a little accountability. So that's my streaking is rolling out my legs and stretching for 10 minutes every day.
On it. All right.
So,
well, let's do it. Let's go streaking, man.
All right.
Just watch
I
out.
might do it without a shirt on. You never know.
You never know. All right.
My wife.
Well, the next thing we're going to talk about is we were talking about just kind of funny things.
And we need intro music for this.
Oh, well, I don't have any
intro clip.
I don't have any. We figure something out. Actually, this was Barry. Barry and his wife actually came up with
this is my wife, Janelle. She's sort of like the Saturday Night Live talent writer. She's behind the scenes coming up with all my ideas, and then I just act like they were mine. So if you're listening, Janelle, I won't take credit.
But it's called Take 5.
Yep.
And we'll do this with different things.
Yep. It's just a ranking 5 things or having 5 things it could be 5 of anything. Well, this week we're doing 5 foods not to eat before you run.
Possibly any run, long runs, definitely.
Sure, or any run, but long runs definitely. We're going to attach some stories to the first one, so I apologize in advance. We won't be too graphic, but you'll get the idea.
All right, what's your first one on the screen?
Okay, well I'm gonna start simple, and once again I got to shout out to Scott Snyder because he knows all about this run. Mine is spicy Thai food. The night before a long run sounds like a great idea. Like the Thai food here in town, there's a couple restaurants that are really good, but spicy Thai food. Why? Scott and I went for a run on Marlette, and let's just say that there is one sock up somewhere along Marlette Road because I couldn't make it home. And
erroneous on both counts.
No, it's true. So the only thing I will say, the only benefit is, so we finished that. I'm like, Scott, I got to stop. I'll catch you up. I felt fantastic afterwards. And Scott's like, my God, you stop and now you're sprinting. We didn't finish the long run, started to get blisters on the foot without a sock. So Thai food, spicy Thai food, it's a definite no-go.
Moral of the story, bring 3 socks.
Yeah, or something else
Mine's similar. Mine was from college, and I was getting ready to go on a long run with my buddy Jason Woolhouse, and there was a pizza place on campus that we had gotten a pizza, and it was buffalo chicken pizza.
Nice.
Needless to say, when I got back to my run, I was sleeveless, and a chunk of my shirt was missing like a shark had attacked me. So, it happens. You runners know, for me, I actually plan my runs, and fortunately for me, out in Pot County, we've got a lot of construction and new houses going up. So I plan my long runs where there's a lot of porta-johns because it definitely makes a difference in feeling good for the entire run. So that's what I do. I plan my long runs for that.
All right. Well, okay. So my next one is not one food. I'll just paint a little story. My home office is in Owatonna, Minnesota. So I was driving up there for meetings in the middle of the summer. On the way there, and this is pre-diet era for me, ate a lot of Cheetos, sunflower seeds. Stopped at McDonald's. Had 2 or 3. My old Sonic days had 2 or 3 large
Route 44.
Route 44 Diet Cokes.
Route,
Easy Ice.
Route or Route?
Route. Yes.
I don't know.
I think it's Route 44. Easy Ice Diet Cokes. Got to the hotel at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and thought, man, I got to get my long run in. Well, I didn't bring anything like Tailwind, so zipped over to the convenience store and bought a big Gatorade, orange Gatorade. Mm-hmm. Loaded up my pack, took off for a 20-mile run. There was nowhere. I'm out on this run, and they're all like semi-ranch homes, but there's not a tree in sight, there's not a hill, and every about quarter mile there's a new house. And it hit me at about mile 9, and there was nowhere to go.
The car? What
Yeah. The Cheetos, the sunflower seeds of McDonald's, and the Cokes hit me about mile 9. I ended up in one of those, those little 3-foot corrugated culverts that runs underneath the road. I ended up squatted down in one of those, cramping, and that was actually was laughing. I thought, this is the dumbest thing you've ever done, and got rid of all that. And
this was recently, or this
was about 6 years ago.
No, so there was cell phones, so there could have been evidence of this, but
yeah, no, there was no evidence. There was a lot of flies and mosquitoes.
Oh, I'll take your word for that.
In water, it was great.
I'll take your word for that.
Don't eat Cheetos, sunflower seeds, McDonald's, drink Coke, sit in the car for 8 hours, and then get out and try to run 20 miles.
My next one is, I think everybody knows this. As soon as we started talking about this, the number one thing that they wouldn't eat is Mexican food. I don't have a personal story that I could really tell again. I mean, there are personal stories of that. It's an obvious choice. I mean, I love spicy stuff, but obviously if you're going to do, maybe if you're just going to go for a 30 or 40 minute run, it's not that big a deal. You don't have to think about that much. But when you're going out hour, 2 hours, possibly a 3-hour long run, you got to think about this stuff ahead of time, and and that's the other one that I would absolutely avoid.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to throw in one last one. It's not really a food, but I'm going to go with over-caffeinated beverages, or even gels if you're not used to caffeine. I see a lot of the gels now have caffeine, double the caffeine, triple the caffeine. People who don't take caffeine or don't drink a lot of coffee, you hammer a lot of caffeine and it's going to be interesting. It's supposed to help you with exercise, but and I do have stories, but I think I've told enough stories.
Yeah, so we don't need to paint more pictures. You're not that great of an artist. So.
Thank you.
So that was our take 5. Barry had a whole list of these. We will throw in others. And also let us know if you liked that segment, didn't like that segment. I mean, other ones you've thrown in are like
the worst running away scenes in horror movies. People with the worst running forms in horror movies. Gosh, there's a ton of them. You can do anything. You can rate five best running movies, 5 best songs to run to. Yep. Things like that.
Yep. So we'll work on that. That'll be another area we go. But that kind of leads us into kind of our first talk. So one of the other things we want to do is not that Barry and I are the best at any of this stuff or the most knowledgeable or anything like that, but we have experiences. We'll share them. We'll let people talk to us about that through this, and maybe we'll bring people in. But we'll have a talk that this week's going to be on nutrition. And, we might do one on long runs and benefits of that, or speed work, or just different things like that. This week's going to be nutrition, which is part of the reason why we did pick the take 5 that we did.
This is the opposite side of the take 5.
Now, when we say nutrition, I'm not here to tell you we're not talking about what we eat on a weekly basis.
Correct.
I mean, that's a whole podcast in itself. You can do, and
everyone's got a different plan.
Absolutely, and I'm not. We're more talking about on the long run, in a race, different things. If you're going for 30 or 40 minutes, you really don't need it as much. Some people like to eat a little bit ahead of time. Kind of do what works best for you. Trial and error. What we're talking about is you're going out for over an hour, I would say. The body does a pretty good job of feeding off of itself for an hour. At that point, you're depleted. And so you kind of have to think about it based on how long you're going, how hard you're going, where you're going. Some people like to do smaller loops so they can pick things up their car. Typically, when I'm going to go do a long run, I live I don't live out in the country necessarily, but I live out between Manhattan and Wamego, and I try to do these big loops where it's, 10, 15, or if I'm doing 20, sometimes I'll just do a giant 20-mile loop, so I take everything with me.
Yep.
And, if it's going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes that I'm gone, you have to prepare. So
yep.
Tips for that. What when you're thinking about this, when you're doing whether that's 100K, the 50-mile, the 2-hour long run, what are you thinking about when you do this?
Well, the first thing I think about is, your body carries about, I talk about this a lot, but it carries about 400 grams of carbs. So it's about 1,600 calories in your muscles, and then you're out of carbs and you're out of energy, you're burning fat. The problem I see, though, is when you start running, you can only absorb about 250 to 300 calories an hour. And if you think about that, if you go run 6 miles in an hour, which is not unreasonable for a lot of people, that's 600-700 calories. So what I always think about is you need to start eating earlier in the run rather than later. If you know you're going to be out for more than 90 minutes, you're going to be out for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you better start eating in that first half an hour to try to keep things going. Otherwise, if you wait till you hit the wall,
it's too late.
It's too late. You can't ever get it back.
Yep.
And so that would be my first thought on calories, because 250 calories an hour is not a lot to absorb.
Yep.
That's basically you can walk.
Yep.
And we don't want that.
And we're not saying you can't make it through a long run without this. I mean, when we were in college, we would go out for 2-hour long runs, and we would go out there, and sometimes we didn't even have water. Sometimes coach was driving along with us and giving us water, but we didn't take any food. Yep. We didn't take gels, maybe there were such a thing back in 98, 99, 2000, but we didn't have them. And so we would do 2-hour long runs with nothing. We're not saying you can't do that. We're just saying if you're trying to maximize your performance, there's certain ways to do it better than others.
Yep.
There's different ways to do it. Gels, there's bars, there's
you can do
beans.
You can even do real food.
Real food is probably the best way to do it. The problem is you might look a little silly running down the road with a banana or a burrito or something like that. And we've already discussed the whole Mexican thing.
Yes,
so let's not go there. But you can do it a lot of different ways. It's just figuring out what works best for you. Some people hate gels. Some people can't take gels. When we did the 50-miler that we did 7 years ago, I basically did 24 gels. In fact, I got to the point where I couldn't do anything except gels. I was trying to do food during. I think at the turnaround point, I tried to take a bite of something real, and I just had to spit it out because I was just nauseous and couldn't do it. But I could do gels the rest of the time.
And it'll change. Sometimes that changes from race to race. You think you've got something you love. It sounds great. It tastes good for you 90% of the time. And you get into a long race, and it just tastes terrible, and you can't eat it. So, but really, if you're going to go for more than an hour and a half, if you're going to go 2 hours, 3 hours, you can make it without taking in calories. But what you're doing is you're giving up your body's ability to push hard and to get the best training effect. You're kind of limiting yourself by calories rather than what your body's capable of, and I think you lose a lot of training effect unless your whole goal is to just learn to burn fat more efficiently.
And some people do that, and there's options out there. We carry a lot of the major brands like Goo and Hammer and stuff like that. There are some people where there's all natural stuff. Sugar's taken out of the equation. It's more fats, and you can do that. Once again, it comes back to a trial and error. Some people find that their stomach gets messed up with certain things. Really, we cannot stress enough trial and error. When we were building up for that 50-miler, it's kind of when I started doing some research, and I found that because I was trying to think in how many calories should I take in, what should I take in. Found that 200 to 300 calories was what was going to be best.
If you take it any more than that on a long 50-mile run, you end up getting sick. You really do, because your body just can't do anything with it.
Can't process it and can't.
It just shuts it down.
Which is, that you were talking about nutrition was kind of what kind of had problems with when we were at Bandera.
Yeah. Well,
but you didn't. But if I remember right, you had a plan and didn't stick with it.
Yeah, I had a plan. Got in the heat of the race. It's single track and. Really just didn't eat. ate about half of what I was supposed to eat, and I got behind mile 24. I was done. And you look at marathons, and we talk about you can do whatever you want. If you're going to run a successful marathon this fall, I know we've got the Manhattan Marathon coming up. Little Apple Marathon. You have to eat something to get through a marathon, because you will be out of carbs and bonk. That's why people talk about hitting the wall. That's about how many carbs you have, about 20 miles worth, and you are done.
And you have to force yourself to do it. Like you probably got into that race, that 100K, and you're like, well, it's just
felt fine at the time. It's too big of a pain to do it.
Like, I don't want to do it, and then it starts catching up to you. And so you have to, even if you don't feel like you need it at the time, you got to start doing it. And you have to kind of, while you are still sane before the race, lay out that plan. Okay, hey, I'm going to start, and I'm going to take my gels here. I'm going to take my salt pills here. I'm going to do this, and have that plan so that okay, I'm in the race. It's 30 minutes in, first gel. It's 45 minutes in, first set of salt pills. I'm an hour 10, second gel. You have to go through there. And you can actually, some of your calories can come from what you're drinking. Tailwind is a high-calorie drink. It's also got a ton of sugar.
And it doesn't taste overly sweet. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of different flavors. There's caffeinated. There's uncaffeinated. There's many, 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 many options. I'm not trying to say that there's only one option. In fact, when you pull into some of these ultras, if you've never done an ultra, some of you have, some of you haven't, you pull into some of these ultras, they have a spread there.
It's an eating contest.
It is. Actually, when we did Bandera, you got, there's M&Ms, there's candy.
There's quesadillas, there's cheese, grilled cheese
soup,
sandwiches.
There's all kinds of stuff. In fact, the first lap of Bandera, mostly I had gels, and I would grab tortillas and I would roll them up and I would take them because I could eat them on the run. And then the second lap, those did not taste so good to me, and I was just pounding Pringles, salty Pringles, because I wanted the salt, and that tasted way better. So along with my gels, and other things. So I was just, when you're burning that many calories, you just got to put stuff back in. So, but it also matters, how far you're going. I went that day. It took me 12 hours.
Yep.
That you have to fuel differently for 12 hours than you do if I was just going to do a 2-hour long run.
Yeah. If I was going to do just a 2-hour long run, it would be 1, maybe 2 gels, and it would be probably after an hour, and then an hour and a half, something like that. If I'm going to do it, I do it by time rather than distance. Personally, I like to do half-hour increments. It makes it easier for me to watch on my watch.
Yep.
It's on the 30. I'll eat something or take my pills, or whatever. A marathon, you can probably get by with 1 or 2 or 3 gels, just something to get you past over the hump. But if you're going to go longer than that, you need to have a plan starting from the first half an hour and let those calories just slowly trickle into your body. So that takes me to my other one. I always hear, because marathon season's coming up, everyone loves a giant spaghetti dinner the night before. And this could go down to what not to eat. It doesn't matter what you eat. If you are gorging the night before, you're probably going to have problems the next day, because you just have too much food in your body, and it has to go somewhere. You're way better off doing your carbo loading over a 2 or 3 day period leading up to the race, and then the day before, just eat what you normally would on a normal day. You're not going to lose that carbo loading, because on a normal day you eat enough food. So just eat your normal. As a matter of fact, your bigger meal the day before should be at lunch, so your body has time to process it. Then eat a normal dinner, and you'll be ready to go. You can't overload. Your body's not going to absorb all those calories anyways. They can't. Your body can only hold 400 calories or 400 grams of carbs in the muscles anyway, and a huge spaghetti dinner will just crush you.
I would say more than anything, just kind of do what you're used to doing.
Yeah.
Don't do stuff out of the ordinary.
Yep.
Practice everything you're doing. That goes for breakfast. So if you've got a race coming up, practice what you think you're going to be able to eat and think about it beforehand. Yep. So if you're only going to be able to eat a banana or a bagel before your race, do that before your long run and try that out.
Get used to train your body.
Yep.
But none of us probably eat 4 plates of spaghetti the night before a long run.
Right.
Maybe some of you do, but don't do that the night before a race. Same. It's just like you don't put on brand new shoes and do all that the day of a race. You at least try them out first.
That's right. So. Yep. So that those are just a few of our tips. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's pretty good.
There's obviously many, many ways to do things. We're not trying to say this is the only way. The biggest thing I can tell you is figure out what works well for you. If you start taking gels and realize that upsets your stomach every time, you might want to look at something else. And there are other options out there. There's great all-natural options out there. There's even, if you search it, you can make your own from home.
Yeah.
Make your own stuff.
Well, I know Joe used rice balls.
Yep.
He made his own rice cakes or whatever for his last 50-mile race he did.
Yep.
And it went well. He set a course record, so I think he's...
we shouldn't compare ourselves to Joe.
You don't think so?
Well,
I'm going to have rice my next race. I expect to set a course record.
You should do that. We'll check back in. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, and that's, that being said, and like I said earlier, one of the things I love about running is it's a very personal thing. Everybody can go out and do it themselves. You can compare yourself and the progress you see. I think what happens too often is we compare ourselves to other people, but they may have been running for 10 years. Joe runs 100 miles a week. I should not compare myself to Joe. I do not run
and I think he weighs 130 pounds.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, and here's what I love about running, and we didn't talk about this at the beginning, but I will now, especially for anybody who's new out there. I don't think the speed that someone runs does not make them a runner or not a runner.
Nope.
When I look at my friends, I couldn't care less how fast they run or how long they run. Running is just a great sport for everybody, and I don't care who you are. Getting out there and running is a neat thing, and time makes no difference. I mean, I don't think of myself as less of a runner than Ben, and Ben's faster than me. And I'm faster than other people. I don't look at that and go, oh my gosh, that person ran slow. I look at how are they doing for them, and it's awesome. And so just really enjoy it and be comfortable. I know one thing, I know we're pretty much done with nutrition, and I know Ben's going to go into upcoming events, but I know they've got a Tuesday night running club here at the store.
5:45.
5:45. Yeah. And I would encourage anybody who wants to meet a community to and is just starting out and is like, I don't know if I should, come out and join it. And I don't know how long the run is.
Anywhere 3 to 5 miles, and then they actually go have some food and some drinks over at the brewery over here next door.
And they do that after the run rather than before, so you don't run into the take 5 here.
That's right, exactly. After the run, that's the key. So I don't know what they do beforehand, but 5:45 on Tuesdays, and I echo exactly what Barry said. It doesn't, pace, speed doesn't matter. It's setting a goal for yourself, accomplishing your goal. There's people out there doing amazing things, and it really is just a personal thing. If they were trying to compare themselves to Joe or to, Michael Wardian or the guy that just set the Eliud Kipchoge that just set the world record in for the marathon, they would look at themselves as failures, and they're not. It's a very personal thing. They start where they are, and they get better from there. So that's the thing to focus on. The next thing we'll talk about is some upcoming events. We try to put on a lot of events, but the great thing about the Manhattan community is there's a lot of other people putting on great events as well. And the ones coming up, October 20th, we have Randolph's Revenge. If you like trails, that's out at the Randolph State Park on the east side of the mile-long bridge. It's a rough trail. It's a great time. This is the second year for the event. Put on by Leah Hyman of Varsity Donuts. So that's another potential sponsor. Maybe we get some donuts. Donuts.
We get donuts out?
Donuts. We run. We can eat some donuts.
I'll eat donuts.
The other one, the following weekend, the 27th, is the Sea Clyde 5K. So if you're looking for and Midges Mile, so if you're looking for a 5K or a 1 mile, that's on campus behind the Union and Bosco Plaza. That's the 27th. And then November 3rd, we have the Little Apple Marathon, half marathon, marathon relay, and 5K. Right now, we've got about 500 people signed up for that for the inaugural event. Really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's a little unique to Boston qualifier. It is for the marathon, the half marathon, the marathon relay. It's a looped course. So we have a certified course that is approximately 6.55 miles long. So marathon runners are going to do 4. If you're doing the marathon relay, you'll each do a lap. Half marathon is 2 laps, and the 5K is a little bit different route, stays inside the park, really pretty run, essentially flat. It's 100 feet of elevation gain every 6.5 miles, which is flat. For around here, that's flat. And so
And
potentially pretty fast.
And a loop course would be pretty cool for family members to come watch.
Get a watch a lot. Yep.
Yeah, if you want someone to be able to come cheer you on.
Yep.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, if there's someone's running the marathon, the way it works out, you essentially can watch you see them 8 times, not even moving from the start finish line, two times each lap. So it's pretty cool. And then we have right after that, we actually have the Turkey Trot, the MHK Turkey Trot. And we'll tag all these events when we post this out, so that you guys know where to go sign up for them and see them. But that we've had now for 2 years. This is the 3rd year. First 500 people that sign up, I believe it's 450 to 500 people, get a little personal pumpkin pie made by Blue Stem Bistro. Another shout out, Blue Stem Bistro.
Wow, we are racking up sponsors big time.
So and that race starts and finishes right there in Aggieville. It's a completely flat course. And actually, another shout out to Joe Moore, set the course record the state record a couple years ago on that.
We're noticing a pattern here.
Yeah, we are. It is true. So that's actually on Thanksgiving morning. Come out before you eat with your family. Hang out with us. It's a quick, fun, family-filled race. So it'd be a great time. Yeah. Then lastly, and we still have a little bit of time on it, but I'm super, super pumped. And I mentioned a little bit earlier, field finish, Snyder 2019, the half marathon and the 5K. I've had several people say, well, does the 5K get a finish on the field? And they do. Everybody finishes on the field. So it's going to be an awesome time. We're looking forward to that. You can sign up for it now. So check out all those great events. There's others. You can go to Manhattan Running Company's race calendar and find others. So what we want for next time, because we don't know if there'll be a next time.
Wait. I got one more.
Okay, one more.
I don't know if anybody's got their daughters running the Girls on the Run program.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's coming up the first week in December.
See, I figured we'd hit that in 2 weeks when it's closer, but it's a great shout out. Candace would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I like that. Girls on the Run.
It's a pretty cool program around for the schools.
On campus,
yep. Trying to run their first 5K. The different grade school gym teachers and stuff. I think each grade school has their own coach.
Yep.
For their own program. I don't know if you can still sign up. I know they started training.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty cool.
Candace McIntosh has really grown that program. It's awesome. We are out there timing that event. This last time it was in the spring, it was on out by the airport, the MHK airport. This one is on campus, and it finishes in Old Stadium, starts and finishes in Old Stadium. It's a lot of fun. Come out to that one as well. That's December 1st. So awesome events. What we're looking for next time, which we hope, if there's more than, what do you set the bar? Let's set the bar. If there's more than 3 downloads, let's set the bar low.
Okay.
If there's more than 3 downloads, we will do a second episode.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Is 3 okay?
Yeah, 3.
Let's go 2. Good. If there's more than 2 downloads,
if our wives downloaded just to heckle us, we're doing it again.
We will do it again. But send us questions. Ben Sigel at ManhattanRunningCo.com.
Any suggestions? I'd like to do next episode maybe a little touch on the cross country for the high schools around here.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be state. Actually, state's at the end of this month. State cross country. So
who knows? It may be passed before we get to it.
Hopefully not. We have found out that it can take up to 2 weeks for you to get approved on iTunes.
Yeah.
So hopefully we may have one episode and hit you with a second episode right there.
I mean, the day of.
Maybe we'll drop two.
We're going to try to do like 3 of these a day for the next year.
No, not really. Yeah. But what we probably will do is, because we obviously want to get this out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do, and I'll post it when we do this on Facebook or wherever. Okay. But if you like it, you subscribe to it, you'll be entered to win maybe, let's say $20 worth of nutrition from Manhattan Running Company, since we did nutrition. So gels, or if you have an 8-year-old like my son Braden who loves the waffles.
Oh yeah.
Those are just like a delicious treat.